First, on COVID, some developments in the states this morning. In Arkansas, a judge there blocked the state from enforcing its ban on schools and enforcing mask mandates. I was wondering if the White House had any reaction to that. And then similarly in Florida, where the legislature there was passing essentially a voucher program to allow parents to pull their kids out of school if there were mask requirements. Like, what's the level of White House engagement right now with all of these different state governments, and for folks who are sort of puzzled by all these federal guidance, state guidance? What's the advice from the White House to parents worried about their kids in school?
Well, since you reminded me, I also want to, for anyone who doesn't know Kevin Munoz, he's one of the amazing people on the press team who does COVID. So just reminded me, we call him Dr. Munoz because he's such a specialist in this area. So I pulled him out here with me today. So I would say, Zeke, that we do have concern, of course, about restrictions that are being put in place in a handful of states or have been put in place around the country that make it more difficult for localities, for schools, for businesses in some places to implement public health guidelines. And our message continues to be that if you don't want to abide by public health guidelines, don't want to use your role as leaders, elected officials, then you should get out of the way and let public health officials guide localities, schools, universities to do the right, or local schools as well, to do exactly the right thing. I think you heard yesterday, or those of you who were here heard Secretary Cardona convey, as it relates to schools specifically, that we do have information from our public health experts, from the CDC, on how we can open up 100% of schools and keep them open in the fall. That's our objective. The only thing preventing that would be if officials in different states and localities put in place restrictions that make that challenging or impossible. And that is certainly concerning to us.
Another COVID one for you. The president a few minutes ago said there are additional vaccination penalties, for lack of a better term, or burdens for those who are not vaccinated that are likely to come in the coming days. I was hoping you might be able to address what some of those are like. I understand there's a new policy here at the White House, in addition across the federal government as well, in terms of forms people have to fill out under potential criminal or civil penalty. But is the White House looking at requiring vaccinations for all nursing home workers nationwide, or for people flying on domestic airlines? Understand the foreign component still in the works, but is domestic travel vaccination requirement something that's under consideration?
Well, I know there was also, in addition to the president's comments, some reporting overnight as well that a number of you have asked us about, understandably. And I would say that and the president's comments certainly reflect what we always do in this administration, which is discuss policy options about how we can continue to mount a wartime response against the virus. So what he was conveying, and I think for those of you who have asked us about reporting overnight, yes, there are early conversations, early discussions about a range of options. Those are all early stage. They're pre-decisional, and I don't have any policy decisions to preview for you because we're not at that point in the process. I know you didn't ask me about this, but since others have, I would also note that there has been some reporting around discussions about around cruises in universities, and that would not be accurate.
Just